Hello friends, I thought I would pop on and do a little video of how I created this mani. I used, as usual, all Bling products, but using the new Patpat gels, and then one of my favorite cat eyes, the neon cat eye heartbeat. And then I used the Pokey Base and the Chrome Mirror top coat to create the water drop effects. So just going to kind of take you through that. I might pause a couple times to kind of pop things in a lamp. I'm going to try and keep this moving as quickly as possible. So I am going to get started with just applying a base coat using Bling's Ultra base coat, just applying a layer to each of the nails and popping them in the lamp to cure for 1 minute. So one great thing about Bling's gels is they are all HPMA, HPMA, TPO, IPOA. They're all free of all of those things that people tend to have aggravate their gel allergies. I am one of those gel allergy people, and I can use Bling gels without any issues, which I am thrilled about. But I still do wear gloves usually when I'm doing my nails, just because I don't want any exposure to things, uncured gel, even though they are super clean. I just don't want to expose myself to anything at all. So I'm just putting on a quick coat of base. I will point out, if you don't know me, hi, I'm Lisa. I am a do-it-yourselfer. I am not a YouTuber, and I pretty much only use Bling products. So once in a while people ask, how did you do that? And so I kind of figured that might be the case with this set, so I thought I would do it kind of ahead of time, just in case anybody wanted to see, because it is super easy, and pretty much if I can do it, anybody can do it. So I just wanted to kind of show you how simple it really is. So these two nails have been fully cured. I saw on a video somewhere, because that's how I learn, watching videos, and one of the things that they recommended making sure that you do before using Patpat gels is putting on a top coat and then buffing it to get all of the dispersion layer off before they did their Patpat. So I was thinking, well, that's a lot of work, having to do that to all of your nails. I wonder if just doing a Russian matte coat would do the same thing. So that's what I've been doing before I apply my Patpat gels. It helps, so I guess, so they don't stick in places you don't want. Helps with spreading a little. It also helps if you accidentally touch something in a spot. It's really easy just to clean it up. So just a little tip that I totally got from a couple of other places. Not my own tip. Like I said, I am a DIYer, so I just get my ideas, just like you guys, from watching other people. And it seems to really help. So if you've tried Patpats and had any issues, you may want to try using the Russian matte top coat to kind of get that surface ready. I am doing it just on my clear nail for this mani because I want to have my first layer be that ombre, that black Patpat ombre. So the very first thing I am doing is just getting that matte surface. Okay, so those are clear, clear base Russian matte. And now I'm going to go in. These little sponges and the tool are also available on the Bling website. Before I start, I'm just going to use a stamp roller here, or a lint roller here, and kind of just stamp my little sponge here just to get off any lint or anything. And then I'm going to go in and use a brush. This is one of the Bling brushes available on the website, just one of the long skinny ones. And I'm going to get a little bit of the black. It's number 6. I stole Erica's idea, totally put my numbers up there. And actually I'm going to move this to the other side away from my lamp. Okay, paused you while I shuffled there. All right, so I'm just going to pick up a little bit of the black. And I've seen this done different ways. I've seen people put it on like a palette and then kind of dip their sponge in that. The first time I tried it, I actually put the sponge in the Patpat gel. That made a mess. I wouldn't recommend it. But the way I've been enjoying using it is to put a little bit on a thin brush, apply it right to the end where you want it to be the darkest, and then use your sponge. And I usually use just like one, like the upper part of it, to blend my dark area. Just kind of pat it out. And kind of turn my hand or my nail this way and bring it down. So there's not much on this nail yet other than a hair. Yuck. So I'm going to actually add a little bit more pat here. If there was some of the later nails, you'll see the sponge already will kind of have some of that black on there, and I won't need to add black to it. But just add a little more on there. It's super forgiving. Pat it across and bring it down as far as you're going to want that black to go. Notice how it's kind of getting lighter as it comes down. If I want to lighten it even more, I turn my sponge to a blank side, and then I can kind of use that just to kind of spread this down, because I want it to be lighter about halfway. I'm going to have it about halfway down, maybe a little bit over, but I definitely want it more graduated. I spun back to my heavier area just to kind of pat this out. And that one is finished. So I'm going to pop that in my lamp. Just needs like a 30-second cure because I'm going to do a second coat. And meanwhile, I will do the same thing on the pointer fingernail. Got the dropsies today. All right, pat this out with my heavier side of my sponge. And then turn it around and to my kind of lighter side to spread it down. If I need a little more, I can put the heavier side. And then when I'm getting down here to that halfway mark, I can use that lighter side to kind of just spread it out. And then put it in the lamp to cure. I'm going to not talk for this so I can kind of speed up the next 3 nails, kind of quick motion so you can see, and then I'll be back to walk you through the next step. Okay, step 2 is to go in and do a second coat of the Patpat gel. So exactly like we did before, I'm going to add a little bit of black to the tip. I'm going to go in with my same sponge, and I'm just going to make this a little more opaque, a little darker, deeper, and I'm probably not going to pat this out as far, right? Because I want it to be thicker at the tip and then lightening down. So I don't want it very heavy coverage towards that middle. Super quick and easy, doing the same thing on each finger. Now it does look a little stippled, when you do this, you can kind of see some of the little marks. When those get covered up with either the cat eye, or if this were your final coat with the top coat, that totally fades away. So don't worry if you're seeing a little bit of a pattern there to it. It will not show in the final product. Super, super easy to work with. Really, really like this product. I've done a couple of nails kind of practice, and then I've done a couple of sets now. Really, really having a fun time with the Patpat gels. In fact, I'll show you. I did this one. Whoop. This one with the Patpat gels and the emboss gels right there along the tip, the cuticle. Super, super cute and easy. Same thing, I just used the Diva, the white gel polish as my base this time, and then did the blue number 8. Did 2 coats of Patpat over the top of it, just like I'm doing here, but just over the top of the color I wanted. And then I used the embossed gel kind of around the base, just for fun. So another super fun set I haven't had a chance to put on yet, but super cute, very easy, so give them a shot. I'm going to go ahead and go through and do the second layer on those other 3 nails in double time. I'll be back. Okay, so we've now done 2 coats of the Patpat gel, did a full cure on that last layer, so it's ready to go. I'm going to go in with 2 coats now of my neon cat eye. You could use any cat eye for this. I think personally that the non-glitter cat eyes show this effect a little better. It's a little more like a jelly. And I adore this color, but you could certainly try it with any cat eye. I've also seen this done after the cat eye. It really shows a little bit darker. I have another mani planned with a glitter cat eye with the black Patpat over the top, and some leopard spots. So I'm super excited about trying that out too. But once you've applied the cat eye, you're going to use your magnet. This is one that's also available on the Bling website. And you're just going to kind of use the wand to bring that shine up. And then I just pushed it back a little bit so you could kind of see the depth, the darkness there at the end. And then I'm going to cure it for 60 seconds, full cure. And I'm going to do the same thing on the cheek. Such a pretty color. I am a sucker for hot pinks and reds, and this is a little bit of both. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous color. Bring out the shine. This magnet is so good. I've had trouble with magnets, but this one is just perfect. Push it back a little bit. Look at that movement. And I'm going to pop it in the lamp to cure. And continue that process. Once again, I'll speed it up for you so you don't have to listen to me chat the whole time. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, just apply a second coat, same cat eye. I'm going to do the same thing, bring out the shine, push it back, you could probably get away with 1 coat, but I really want to bring out the deep, beautiful color of the heartbeat. It is just lovely. And I did 2 coats on the the first hand I did, so I want it to be even. So if you were happy after the one coat, or if you have a little heavier hand on your layers, you could probably get away with a single coat, but I do like using two. Look at that cat eye though. It is fabulous. I'm going to go ahead, I'll put you in double speed again and finish out these other 4 nails. Okay, so the cat eyes all have 2 coats now. You could certainly stop there and just top coat it. It is a gorgeous nail. I love it, but I went that extra step. I gotta be a little extra fancy. And I added those water drops. These are super easy to do. So that first step is you're just gonna add a layer of the poke base gel just evenly across the nail. It's basically a top coat, so it's going to get rid of that sticky layer. So this is going to kind of be that top coat layer of my nail. I'm going to put it on a coat, and then I'm going to cure it for 1 minute. I'm going to do it to all 5 nails. These 2 nails have already had a full cure. The others are curing right now. But that next step is that we're going to add some chrome top coat. There are a couple of different techniques for this. So you can brush it over the whole nail and it'll kind of shrink up into dots. I kind of like to just kind of tap it in certain areas. I tend to stay away from being right by the edge because I don't want big drops right on the edge of the nail where they might run. So I just kind of tap it over the surface and it adds those beautiful little water drops. When it's kind of the way you want it, then you pop it in the lamp and it will kind of lock it in place. So super, super easy and fast, right? If you make a mistake, you can kind of dab it up. You don't want too much on your brush, but once again, I just kind of tap different spots around the nail, just kind of get it on, and then they shrink into those water drops. If you want bigger drops, you add more gel. If you want smaller drops, less gel. And once again, I don't go super close to the edge because I don't want a big glob of drop on the side of my nail. The texture doesn't appeal to me, so I don't want it rubbing my fingers together. But that might just be me. So this is just kind of my process. Once you've done this and it's gotten a 30-second cure, you're finished. Super fast, super easy. So just my perfect kind of nail art. Anybody can do. It's very forgiving, pretty much on every layer. If you make a mistake, it's fixable. And just the finished look is so pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Just makes me happy. So I hope this helps. Once again, I am a DIYer, not an expert, but if something I do helps someone else, that makes me happy. So another little trick, if you have like this drop here is a little oblong for me, you can use like a dotting tool, kind of move it around a little, and kind of rounded it up. So that's another little trick too. Since there isn't a sticky layer, you can also, use a swab or something to wipe things up. But very, very simple to use and beautiful. I also would recommend, if you did not see Erica's live in the group a while back using the Patpat gels, it is still available in the Bling Facebook group, so check it out because she did a beautiful job showcasing the Patpat gels, the embossed gels, which I really want to get into using, and just did some really cute little fruit nail art with the cat eyes. And so really should check that out. But these sets are just gorgeous. I cannot wait to get these on. I'll be wearing these for real when I go back to work in a week or so. And I just couldn't be happier with how they turned out. So I hope this helped. If you have any questions, please reach out and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.